Hello, it is 5 a.m. in Washington, it's 11 a.m. in Tripoli. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain Verjee. You're watching World 1 live from London. Also ahead...
Britain's plan to get more deeply involved in the revolt in Libya is attracting criticism and causing concern. It is sending military advisors to Benghazi to support the rebel fighters. London says its team won't be training or arming the Libyan opposition. Its aim will be to help in areas such as organization and communications. Plans to get more involved in Libya come as Muammar Gaddafi's forces continue to pound the rebel-controlled city of Misrata. Someone who lives there says the shelling is getting worse and the situation is becoming very dangerous. We want to get the latest now from CNN's Fred Pleitgen, who's in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. Fred.
Hi, Monita. And of course, the thing on everyone's mind right now is whether or not NATO is...
We want to take a look at what newspapers around the world are saying about what is happening in Syria. The International Herald Tribune's headline, "As bullets fly, Syria gropes for answers." It goes on to say, while Syria lacks Egypt's population or even Libya's wealth, its influence has long outstripped its power, given its location, alliance with Iran, and status as kingmaker here in Lebanon. In the UAE, the National has the headline, "Damascus moves to abolish hated law." It says toughening government rhetoric about the demonstrations has alarmed some observers who caution the country may now see new repression of dissent. And then here in the UK, the Independent headline has a commentary that says, can President Assad do what it takes to cleanse his corrupt regime? It goes on to say, the problem lies in that Syria remains a dictatorship and that Assad remains a dictator. His failure to rid his own family of the corrupt men within it is the main problem. Severe weather is continuing to pound parts of the United States, while in Colombia, the government is trying to deal with the impact of flooding. Meteorologist Jennifer Delgado is at the World Weather Center with details on all of that. Jen.
Hi, Monita. The flooding has been really bad across parts of Colombia, really over the last year, but recently they've been...
All right, Jen, thank you very much for that.
You're watching World 1 live from London. Passionate affairs, evil twins, and bitter rivalries. That's what happens here on the set.
I was just going to say, it's not talking about your life there. We're talking about soap operas, which attracted an army of fans until the genre went into decline. Can you believe it?
Or did it? You know, you can catch up with the shows that are bucking the trend just ahead. We'll tell you about it.
You're watching World 1. Action, drama, romance, Hispanic soap operas seem to have everything, including viewers. Plenty of them. Rafael Romo finds out why they're succeeding while the English language soaps are failing.
At the Castillo home in suburban Atlanta,
It's the worst oil spill in U.S. history. 1 year ago today, an explosion tore through the Deepwater Horizon rig in the Gulf of Mexico. These dramatic images beamed across the world, the beginning of an environmental nightmare. The equivalent of nearly 5 million barrels of oil poured into the Gulf triggered a huge debate in the U.S. about offshore drilling. On Tuesday, the U.S. Interior Department said it would set out stronger rules. Europe is also preparing legislation. It wants to put a legal obligation on oil companies to pay if they release pollution near land.
For fishermen on the U.S. Gulf Coast, it's really hard to put a figure in dollars on the cost of offshore drilling. Many of them say that the oil industry was impacting local livelihoods long before the BP oil spill.
And BP's troubles are far from over. A year on, BP still faces billions of dollars in potential fines and payouts over the spill. The company set aside $40 billion to pay for cleanup and litigation. And speaking of litigation, when it comes to lawsuits, more than 300 lawsuits have been filed against the company. As for those claims, the Gulf Coast Claims Facility, the independent organization in charge of the claims process, has paid out more than $3.8 billion to individuals and businesses and processed more than 500,000 claims. But it hasn't been all bad for BP. BP returned to profit last year with a net income of $4.9 billion. Now, for more than 80 years, it's been one of the most compelling rivalries in football, and later on Wednesday, Real Madrid and Barcelona will go head-to-head again, this time with a major trophy at stake. I am biting my nails.
I know, I don't know what to watch. There's that and a very good game in the English Premier League as well. Hello to you. Episode 2 of El Clasico sees the two Spanish giants up. And more from Pedro in World Sport in about 15 minutes' time.
We look forward to that. Alex Thomas, thank you very much. Right now, though, let's take a look at what's trending on social media. At number 3, Charlie Sheen's legal battles. The American actor was in court yesterday seeking custody of his twin boys with ex-wife Brooke Mueller. Several media reports say the judge refused his request. He's also in a legal dispute with Warner Brothers over his dismissal from the hit sitcom 2.5 Men. His lawyer wants a public trial after that fallout. At number 2, Toyota's troubles. The car maker says it's making drastic cuts to its production in North America and in China. That's because of a shortage of parts from Japan after last month's earthquake and tsunami. Toyota says no staff will be laid off during the production slowdown, so that's good news there. And at number 1, the BP oil spill. As we've been talking about today marks 1 year since the Gulf oil disaster began. The topic is popular online as people look back at what happened and they talk about what can be done to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
You're watching World 1 live from London. There on World 1, I'm Zain Verjee.
I'm Monita Rajpal. Thanks for joining us. We want to give you a look at these pictures out of the U.S.
Well, so many of us here are enjoying the sunshine, isn't it amazing? You know, spring is here to stay. It almost feels like summer in London, actually. These are pictures out of Wisconsin that are just a reminder that winter still has the upper hand in some parts of the world.